Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 11th day of July, 2024. Well, a master number 11 of awakening and enlightenment and illumination. Oh, the horror. Anyhow, I hope you all are doing well this week. We're still in triple digits. I think today it either got to 106 yesterday here or 107. I don't know. So I just try to stay in the house. I run out and water things very quickly and come back because that's just too hot. I can't do that. Anyway, we're looking at manas to start us out today from the Elder Futhark on the above side of things, or the higher self side of things. Manas means man. It's an earth element rune. It has to do with humanity. It's actually a bind rune in and of itself. It's about thought and memory. You see in the X in the middle, that's Gebo. If you see the bow tie up here at the top, that's Degas. Gebo is the balanced energy exchange or the gift of reciprocity or partnership. But included in that with Degas is the end of one phase and the beginning of another. You look at the two letter P's here, forward and reverse. That's Vunyo. That's joy and fellowship with others. You've got Laguz, forward and reversed as well. It just does this. Laguz is flow from spirit. So essentially what you're looking at with manas is the higher vibratory collective aspect of self. If you look at your own soul's expression in this life, and then you look outward and see others, in a sense, you're looking at the self and the other side of self. If each one of us projects all of that, and that's an if, I don't know that's true, but there are some that seem to suggest that it is, and it kind of resonates for me. So I tend to think about things that way. Then you're able to experience things in a way that you actually have more control over than you realize. But essentially, this is integration with others, integration with the self and the other side of self, if you will, or other souls that are here. But given that we're all part of the collective consciousness, or at least I believe we are, then realistically we're all one. And so you're looking at that integration from a higher perspective in terms of humanity as a whole, and your place in that, and the responsibilities you have toward it, the mind body spirit connection and things like that. So pretty high vibratory rune for today. Let's see what the Geomancy rune is. There's earth. Oh, well, that's interesting. We have Populus. Populus and Vaya are at two ends of the spectrum. And Vaya would be an independent path, but whereas Populus then would be the follower or the group or the people or the tribe or something like that, the bigger group of people. And you being a follower with that, in other words, you're in alignment with other people. Follower sometimes sounds, like you have no will of your own, and maybe that's the case, and the cards will tell us if that is here. But otherwise, this is Populus. And so whenever you see two dots in a geomancy rune, that's a passive influence. So you're following along, you're in harmony with others, you're on the same path essentially. And here the path is more independent with a single dot. So it's an active presence here. And in terms of what each one represents, you're looking at fire, air, water, and earth in that order. So when you throw down the geomancy runes, you put them in that order. And you can do this other ways. You can take a handful of peas or beans and throw it down and count them. And if you get a single dot, well, or if you get an odd number, that's a single dot, and an even number, you have two dots. So you could do it that way too. I just kind of like the idea of making runes, and so that's what I do here for this. So, but the two here on the as above and so below side of things with manas and Populus, you're talking about kind of the same vibration. And so understanding that we're on the same path, that we have that higher level of integration, both above and below, that's manifesting that path forward together. So let's take a look at the cards. Let me just go and shuffle just a little bit more. And we'll see what we have. Well, if I can shuffle today, I'm going to cut the deck and take the lower half. Oop, and everything went away. There it is. My screen just sort of vanished to every corner on the, well, you know. Well, we have one from each grouping in the tarot. We have one from the major arcana, one from the minor arcana, and one from the court. And we have a run on pentacles, so that's a run on the earth element. And that's, again, Manaz is an earth element rune. And so you're talking about how grounded you are, really. The earth element is very grounding. It also talks about your material security, so it could be finances, it could be your home, education, tradition, inheritance, if you will. The passing on of legacy. It could be anything to do with that. So basically everything to do with your physical reality here on the earth. But we begin with the sun, which is from the fire element. Now fire and, I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget, fire and earth has kind of a neutral effect on one another. So it's going to warm the earth and provide light and illumination. And given the 11th day of July, you're looking at that same sort of alignment there with that. The idea of alignment in higher presence, essentially. But you know what? Before we talk about that, I always forget to do this. Let me do the numerology really quickly. So Manaz is the 20th rune. Let me clear that out. So it's going to have a 2 numerology. But again, 2 is going to be about reciprocity and alignment together and harmony and love and healing. Decisions also. But that really coincides with the numerology of Manaz, really coincides with its meaning, I think. So we have the 20th rune, plus we have the 19th card for the major, from the major arcana with the sun. We have the 4 of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Pentacles, which doesn't have. Let's see, I'm going to do that again. It doesn't have a number of signs. So we have 20 plus 19. That's 39 plus 4. Yeah, that was right. Is 43, I think. I'll reduce it first. 2 plus 1 plus 4 equals 7. So yeah, 43 reduces to 7. Let me write this down up here. 7. And 7 is about balance. It's about justice, magic, spirituality. But it also resembles the scales to me, a set of scales. And it's allowing the pans of the scale to come to a rest, to see what you have. When you weigh things out, you need to observe, you need to do all of that, but you need to let things settle and then make your decision from there. And so there may be an element of that here in the reading, but let's go ahead and start again with the sun. Here we have the child on the back of the white horse. You see the red flag waving in the wind, the very large sun with its rays emanating throughout everything there in the sky. You see the sunflowers reaching up, growing upward toward the sun's light, and you see the masonry type like cement block wall that you can make right here in between the child, the horse, and the sunflowers. The sunflowers are growing up behind that. Now, the sun is about happiness and fulfillment. It can indicate the self. It can indicate clarity, success, the light returning, maybe reunion, but also awakening. And so with this 11, or with the 11 numerology for the day itself, and being the master number of awakening and illumination and enlightenment, we have a connection there as well here. So I think that how we integrate with others in terms of clarity and in terms of how we see one another. Are we going to be at odds with one another? Do we see the other as the enemy? Or do we see the other as simply the other side of self, where you learn more about yourself by observing that individual, right? One thing we can learn about is either to be a little more conservative with our money, not as maybe you need to save for something, and maybe you're just used to spending everything you have, and so you can look at this card two different ways, either being too miserly or maybe taking a more measured approach to your finances. But here we have the king sitting on a bench, his back to the kingdom. You see the dual line here that you see on some tarot cards in the Rider-Waite, not all, but on some. And so there's that sense of here he is here and here he was. So there's a sense of separation there, of experience perhaps. But here he's either sitting out there and he's hanging tight to his money, not sharing it with the kingdom, or he's displaying it, because you can see it's right, one is right there, one coin is sitting atop his crown. He's displaying it for all to see and to show what a successful kingdom he happens to control and rule over. But again, with 4, you're looking at structure and foundation and also grounding. And so maybe a more grounded approach to, and because again, we have the earth element here with Manaz as well. That's also earth element. And so maybe having a little more grounded approach to alignment with others, seeing the value in that, finding a way to have common ground with other people in your orbit, whether it's at work or at home or in the neighborhood at large or something, in the city you live in. Maybe you're part of a group that maybe is having some trouble integrating with each other and functioning as a more harmonic unit. Having a little more grounded attitude about that might help that situation, might help you feel like you can have something to contribute, and instead of living in fear or what have you of, oh, my ideas aren't very good or whatever. In reality, they are, because if you're looking at the sun, you're looking at happiness and fulfillment and success. And so how you manage that, though, maybe needs to be a little more grounded in whatever your material needs are, instead of, what you just want to do at any given moment. The Knight of Pentacles now, we're looking at, I love this one. I love this knight. It's interesting because the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, instead of looking in this direction, they're going in this direction. And there's a lot of energy to them, a lot of swiftness with swords, a lot of energy with the Knight of Wands, because that's the fire element, the other's the air element. And air tends to spool up fire, increase fire, depending. But on the other hand, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, they're looking in this direction, and they're more steadfast. He's on a beautiful black steed. He's still in battle attire, but like all of them, the visors are up, so the battle is over. And the Knight of Pentacles is likely coming there. He's trustworthy. He's not as young as the Page. The Page is more of the student, but he's gone through all that. And now he's there to protect and offer support and help. And he's practical. He's realistic. So he's there to offer something. You see the same thing with the Knight of Cups, and instead of the pentacle here, the coin that knight is offering, he's offering a cup of compassion and love and support and all that to the village that you don't see. Again, you don't see that here either. But it's just implied that there's got to be somebody over here that he's offering that coin to, that type of support, material support, and essentially wisdom, the wisdom of his own experience, but in a way that's realistic. And so if you take these two cards together, then this miserliness gives way, I think, to being more practical and realistic with your money and with your own material security here. it implies that you're thinking about others as well. If you have a family that you're helping to support, then that's where populace would come in. Populace at that point would mean that you're on the same page with the people that depend on you, and you're there. You're responsible. You're pragmatic. You're willing to help in a way that is or be responsible in a way that isn't just simply about you. And with the sun, it's as if you're awakening to that truth. That fundamental truth about yourself, and also with the 11 day, you really are awakening to all of that. There's that alignment there. With the 7 numerology for the reading, though, letting things settle out so that you understand fully what's at stake, what you can gain out of something, maybe a new opportunity that's coming your way that you're having to consider. Or a new direction that you want to go to maybe achieve some more material security than you had. Either way you want to look at this, there just seems to be an awakening to the idea that you're not in this alone, that you're part of another integrated unit that you belong to, whether it's a family or with friends or coworkers or whatever this is for you, however this resonates really. It's just counseling you to awaken to the idea that you're not here alone. You have other people that you're integrated with, other people who depend on you for something, and your reliability and your groundedness and your wisdom, you're there to offer that to other people. It's not just simply what you take in yourself, although that reciprocity is there. It could be it may be a sort of a give and take there, perhaps that's sort of implied in Manaz. But if the Degas influence within it, in terms of one period coming to an end and another one beginning, maybe you're at this place in life where you're letting go of some things that might have been fun to do, but now it's time to get down to work and make sure that you can pay the bills and maybe put some money away if you can, either for the family itself or maybe college funds for your children. Get those started maybe, because it's not cheap to go to college. And so whatever your goals are, in other words, this is the time, I think, to awaken to the fact that there's more at stake than simply yourself and what you want to do, that there's you're at this place in life where you need to be more responsible and practical and helpful toward the bigger goal of if you own a business, it could have to do with that, buckling down to make that the best it can be, and doing it in a way, with the king here, and perhaps a little more measured approach to where you really know what's going on. And again, that's part of the 7 numerology as well, to where you really know what's going on before you make the decisions you need to make. And again, what you have to offer others in this process, whether it's your wisdom or your time or whatever it is, that's also factored into this. And again, it keeps you building that tribe of people that you have around you, which, includes your friends, your family, your coworkers, the neighborhood, whatever that is. And you're there to offer your own advice and support and wisdom and experience to anyone else that's in that tribe. And so little bit of reciprocity also is part of this. And so if somebody wants to do something nice for you, then let them do that. It makes them happy, and especially if you've done some really nice things for others. It's not that they want to have a quid pro quo or anything. It's just that you've made them happy. You've maybe made their life better with some advice you gave, and now they just want to return the favor. Maybe they maybe someone crochets or knits, and they make you a beautiful Afghan or something to say thank you. That sort of reciprocity is what I'm talking about. That comes from a place of love and harmony and joy with other people. That would be the Vunyo, forward and reversed aspect of Manaz. And so I think it's valuable, especially on these runes, that you see other runes that comprise it. I call them foundational runes. I think it's really a valuable thing to look at what other runes comprise some of these things, and you can understand then why the interpretation seems to be what it is. At least that's how I look at it anyway. Um, but anyway, I think that the reading here is just asking you to awaken to who you are amidst others, and what you have to offer all of them, in terms of who you are, and what you know, and and the love that you're willing to share with them. So that's an interesting reading for a Thursday. Sometimes there's drama on Thursdays. Sometimes there's drama on Mondays. But today I think that uh, anytime you can awaken to a new truth that maybe you hadn't realized was there or you didn't consider before, the 11 numerology, the Master 11 numerology, will help you do that. So let that bless you, and and see how it goes here, until we meet again on Monday, and see what that reading has to say. Check out the blog, Stepping Aside. The web address is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget that, just click on more. There's a thing that says more below the video. It says more. Click on that, and a window opens up, and you'll see the web address for the blog there. And you can scroll down and you can see wherever else I am on social media. I also write on Substack, Patreon, and Medium, and pretty much most things I publish on the blog I also republish over there, just in case somebody likes to read stuff on those platforms. So check all that out if you would. I'd love you to do that. All the stuff for next week gets posted in the midnight hour on Sunday morning. And I'm almost done with the Exploring Tarot series. I think I've either got only one or two more cards to go through, and then I'll switch up and do something else. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and let's get together again on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.